Hi, this is a Sunday afternoon here at Meta Labs, and I'm sitting here. I'm Glenda, and I'm sitting here with Adam.
Hello.
Hi,
Good
Adam.
afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We were here to talk about cold plunging.
We are.
Yeah. I'm curious to know what inspired you to do this. What brought you here?
Yeah. So I would say it was probably about October, November of 2023. We have a friend, Danny, who started the Meta Labs Cold Plunge here. We actually do rock climbing with him, and we became friends there, and we became close. And he was telling us about this cold plunge place that he was opening up, and that's something I had never experienced. I have no experience with any no cold plunging, nothing like that. And so I thought I'd give it a try, and so we came here. And I did my first cold plunge, and I got in and I did 30 seconds in there, and I thought I was gonna die the first time. I was like, this is crazy. And then we just continued to come back with Danny. He would invite us. And next thing you know, I was a regular plunger. And so that's how it all started.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. And what is your routine for plunging? Like how often do you come, and what do you do when you're here?
Yeah. So I'll usually come, my goal is to come 3 times a week. And obviously with life, that it could be, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 2, but ideally I shoot for 3 times a week. And usually my routine is I'll come in, I'll do some light stretching to start, and then I'll go and I'll sauna. I'll sauna for about 15 minutes. And then after that, I go straight into the cold plunge. Usually I'll stay in for about 2 to 3 minutes, just kind of depending. I sometimes let my body tell me how it feels. And so sometimes it's 2 minutes, sometimes it's 3, just depending on how I feel in there. And then after that, I'll typically just I'll get out of the cold plunge and I'll allow my body to bring itself back up to normal temperature. And so that's been my routine lately. Granted, these things kind of change. I know that there's the hot soak, so I've been kind of experimenting with that and trying to work that in. But that's kind of one of the beautiful things about the hot and cold therapy, is just kind of talking with people, trying different things, see what works for you. But right now for me, it's the sauna, it's the cold, and usually that's what I'll do.
So there's 3 cold tubs here, different temperatures. Which one do you go in?
Well, I'll usually do, if I'm feeling very brave, I'll go for the 39-degree tub.
Whoa,
I know.
That's the coldest,
That's
right?
the coldest. That's the coldest of the 3.
It's cold, colder, and coldest.
Yes, colder than coldest. Yep. Or if not, I'll usually do the 4. I think it's usually around 43, 44, something like that. That one's the one I'm definitely most comfortable in. If I'm feeling daring or aggressive or whatever, then I'll go for the 39-degree one. But yeah, I'll usually switch between those 2.
And the cold tub is like 48 to 50, right? Somewhere in that range?
Yeah, I think usually in the mornings it's about 47 degrees, and then it'll get up to maybe 50, 51, around there. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yep.
So how do you prepare yourself mentally and or physically to do this? So when you come here, I mean, nobody really wants to go, hey, let's go into the cold plunge. Maybe there are a few people who do that, but
the few crazy ones.
Yeah. So what is it that you do to get yourself ready?
Yep. So for me, and this is something that Danny taught me early on when we first started coming, is that breath work is such a huge part of the experience and how it works. And what I mean by that is, like, when you first go into a cold plunge, your body's not familiar with this, so you'll have a visceral reaction where your body wants to kind of tense up, and your breathing kind of becomes irregular. And the goal is to avoid that. The goal is to just go in and like just as calm as can be. And so to combat it, usually what I'll do is I'll do what's called, I believe it's called box breathing. And all that is breathe in for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, breathe out for 2 seconds, hold for 2 seconds. And so the idea is that it brings down your heart rate to a lower level. And the goal is, as you enter the tub, is to keep that breathing as you were. So I'll usually do 1 to 2 minutes before. I'll just sit outside of the tub and do that box breathing. And then as I go in, I'm very intentional about continuing the breathing. And for me, that helps tremendously, because I know there are a few times, and it even happens still sometimes, where your body just wants to tense up. And so it's so important. And this is what I tell everyone that comes in that's new, is just focus on the breathing. Breathe, 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 and make sure your heart rate's low. So for me, that's the biggest ritual. I will, every time I will do that before going in.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. So you do like 2 minutes of breathing, box breathing, before you go in?
Yes.
To get you in? Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah.
I tell them, put up the music so I can scream loudly.
That's another way to cope. That's another way to cope with it. You know, everyone's different. Everyone's different.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Have you faced any challenges or obstacles with cold plunging, and how did you get through it? I mean, maybe it's the breathing thing, but how did you get through it?
Yeah. So I would say, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier, is a huge part of the cold plunge for me is just accustoming your body to be familiar with the cold. And for me, I feel like the biggest way that I do that is just through repetition, going in, being able to plunge regularly 3 times a week, whatever it is, you know, that keeps your body familiar with the cold. And so for me in my life, you know, there were past couple of months, things have come up and I haven't been able to keep that schedule. And so kind of coming back into it now, it's been a huge obstacle, just getting my body refamiliarized with the whole process and everything like that. And it's not that I can't do it anymore. It's just, I would say when I'm in the plunge more recently, if I haven't been doing it regularly, I can feel in my body that I'm not as, like it's more of a rigid sort of feel. Like it's not like, it feels like I've been away, just like kind of like anything. If you don't work out for a while, you're not going to be doing your max PR or things like that. And it's the same with plunging for me. It's if I haven't been doing it regularly, I will kind of backslide and have to build my way back up physically and mentally to where I was. And so it was and is a huge obstacle for me. And it's a good reminder to keep that routine of doing the plunge, doing the sauna, and then feeling the benefits of that in my life.
It seems like you feel like it's important to keep coming, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why you're like pushing yourself. So there must be some benefit. What are some of the benefits you've noticed for you in your young grasshopper age?
So it's important for me, health is important for me, just in general. And I'm the type of person I like to be active and exercise throughout the week. So a big part of that for me is I do rock climb, but I also do a lot of running and jogging. And jogging there's a lot of wear and tear on your knees and on your joints when you're running. And so I always try to make it a point to match with the cold plunge and sauna, because I want to experience the healing of my body as I'm doing all these exercises. And so one of the biggest is obviously just physical. I can feel the physical effects of the plunge on my body. Mm-hmm. So even when for instance, I'll run to this facility sometimes and I'll plunge, and I can feel it in my knees when I go into the tub. I can actually feel my knees and just kind of like the aching that they have. And then on the flip side, after you do the sauna in the cold, how much better it feels, how much looser you are just physically. And then the other thing for me is just I would say, a mental clarity that comes with it. I work in accounting, so I'm on the computer all day working with data, things like that, and I've noticed that after I do the hot and cold therapy, I'm just able to think better. I'm able to think clearer. I'm able to, sometimes I can step away, revisit, and I just feel so re-energized and so refocused. And so I've seen huge benefits on the mental side too. So for me, it's coupled. It's both physical healing and mental healing is what I've experienced.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
It is.
Great
It truly
for
is.
you,
And it keeps me
yeah.
coming back. Keeps me coming
Yeah.
back. Yep.
Well, gosh, for anyone who's listening, you ever come here on a Sunday morning, early afternoon, well, maybe every other Sunday, you're going to see Adam, or perhaps his brother Evan. But that was great, Adam. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. Yeah.
Just anything else, like you might want to say to someone who is like curious, avoiding, avoiding but curious.
Yes.
I don't know how to say that.
Yeah.
But
No.
like they're wondering, like, why the heck should I do this? Or how would I ever do that? Or why would you do that, crazy man?
Yep. I would say give it a try. Give it a chance. I mean, usually like the typical appointment here is only 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So it's a very small chunk of your time just to give it a try. And maybe you don't like it. Maybe you hate it. But I do think it's important to try, because I can say for myself that I've experienced major enhancements in my life, physically and mentally. And yeah, if you come on a Sunday morning, I'll be here and I'll walk you through the whole thing. I'll be right by your side if you'd like, and I'd encourage everyone to give it a try.
Yeah, he may even hold your hand.
Even hold your hand.
Well,
we'll see about that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Glenda.
here.